Hello everyone and welcome back to Push Square. Ragnarok is truly upon us, so to ensure that you are all up to date on the what's what and the who's who for Santa Monica's long awaited sequel, we have here a handy story recap of the 2018 game to jog your memory and ready yourself for what's to come. So let's get into it. Our story focuses on Kratos once more. Leaving behind the violence and tragedy of his past in Greece, Kratos, disguised as a man, has settled in the Norse realm of Midgard, along with his wife Faye and son Atreus. However, it's Kratos we're talking about here. Loss is never too far behind, as his beloved wife has already passed when we take control of the mighty God of War. With a stilted relationship, Kratos and his son Atreus are tasked with spreading Faye's ashes amidst the tallest peak in all the realms. However, Kratos feels that his son, who has been plagued by this mysterious illness across his childhood, is not ready to make such a journey. But the journey is thrust upon them nonetheless when a powerful stranger comes knocking at the door. While we didn't know it yet, this is Balder, son of Odin and a man cursed with the inability to feel. He cannot feel pain, and he cannot be killed. After an epic clash that gives Kratos and Atreus some respite, the two hit the road, eager to make easy work of their task. Across their journey they come across dwarven smiths Brock and Sindri, a pair of brothers with plenty of baggage to their relationship, but also plenty of skill to improve your trusty Leviathan axe, an axe left to you by Faye, and originally crafted by the brothers. However, one of the most important relationships of this story is that between Kratos, Atreus, and the Vanir goddess Freya. Trying to teach Atreus to be a greater hunter, the two unknowingly shoot a magical boar that is friends with Freya. Luckily, this healing witch is kind and helpful, but be careful folks, because this one harbours secrets. More on that later. Making your way to the Lake of the Nine, you have your first encounter with Jormungandr, the World Serpent. But you cannot understand him at this time. I mean, no bloody wonder, you heard how much he mumbles? The serpent's movements reveal Tyr's temple, however, which does crop up a fair amount throughout the story. Ascending the mountain of Midgard, Kratos and Atreus are blocked by a poisonous black smoke. A guiding word and the gift of the Bifrost from Freya sets us off to another realm, in chase of the light of Alfheim, which will supposedly clear the smoke. Of course though, things are never simple, as it is revealed that the realm of the elves is in the midst of a war, one between that of the light elves and the dark elves. Fighting your way through the realm while steadily releasing the light which has been blocked by the dark elves is your main objective here. Reaching the source, Kratos steps into the light to fuel the Bifrost, but what is just a moment for him when he hears the sound of his wife once more is a little bit longer for Atreus, who has fought against waves of dark elves. With slight hints of the illness returning, we are seeing the first of Atreus' conflict, of a god that does not know he's a god. But enough of this elf business, let's nip back to Midgard, where you clear the smoke and ascend the mountain. But not before you kill yourself a literal dragon, saving Sindri in the process. The dwarf gifts Atreus with mistletoe arrows, a gift greater than it first appears. Reaching the peak, the duo get their first glimpse of Magni and Modi, the sons of Thor, along with Balder. The three are talking to Ymir, the smartest man alive, who has been bound to a tree as punishment from Odin. Upon asking of the tallest peak in all the realms, Mimir reveals that Jotunheim is home to such a place. But getting there will be difficult, as there is only one hidden bridge left to take you to that realm. And, as a quick last word, Mimir warns Kratos that he should not keep Atreus' true identity a secret from him much longer. Chopping Mimir's head off, Kratos and Atreus take the god back to Freya, who reanimates his head so that he joins you as a guide on your travels. The witch does not like the sight of Sindri's mistletoe arrows, however, tossing them in the fire and warning never to use them again. We head back to the lake, where Mimir can act as a translator to the World Serpent, who tells us to travel to Jotunheim we need a special chisel to carve the rune. Quite handily, said chisel can be found a short boat trip away, as it has long been wedged into the skull of a dead giant. Making your way to the chisel, you come to blows with Magni and Modi. Magni doesn't fare so well in this fight, getting a swift axe to the skull, sending his brother running. Atreus' illness seems to flare up as the unknowing god struggles with his temper. Leaving with the chisel, the two make it to Tyr's temple, but they are attacked by Modi once more, which almost sends Atreus into the iconic Spartan rage, but he collapses before he manages it. Kratos, on the other hand, spams L3 and R3 going into that rage, and once again sends Modi running. With Atreus passed out, Kratos takes him to Freya, who requires the Bridgekeeper of Helheim's heart to heal him, although it will just be a temporary solution to Atreus' godly problem. The Cold of Helheim sends Kratos back to his home to retrieve a relic of his old life, the fiery blades of Sparta. With these old weapons wrapped around his forearms once more, you make quick work of the Bridgekeeper, but not before a vision of Odin reveals to Mimir who you really are. With it being the only way to truly heal Atreus, Kratos finally reveals to the boy that he is in fact a god, and as you would expect, Atreus has many questions, like whether he can turn into an animal. I would want to know that as well. Finally making their way to Tyr's temple, the two uncover a collection of riches from other lands, including a vase depicting Kratos as the god of war. After Kratos nearly dies in a trap and Atreus sacrifices his mother's knife to save him, Kratos finally gives him the knife that he prepared the day he was born, saying he had always planned to gift it to him when he was ready. That's some nice father-son bonding stuff right there. Knowing the rune now to travel to Jotunheim, they make their way back to the peak of Midgard, but not before Atreus decides to become a bit of an arse as a result of his newly realised godly status. They're confronted by Modi once more, who has been badly beaten by his father Thor. This leaves him vulnerable to an easy blow from Atreus, who is antagonised when Modi mentions his mother. Stabbing him in the neck and kicking him over the ledge, Atreus kills Modi, spelling the end of both of Thor's sons. Kratos is not happy about this, claiming that there are consequences to killing a god. Atreus, though, doesn't really seem to take any of this advice in. Reaching the gates of Jotunheim, the two are disastrously attacked by Balder once more, and with Kratos being the big smashing man that he is, he destroys the gates to the other realm. But when he tells Atreus to take a step back as he goes to face Balder, the wee man shoots his father with shock arrows to take on Balder himself, but of course, as you would expect, it's a futile attempt, and Atreus is whisked away by Odin's son on the back of a dragon. With Kratos in pursuit and an epic struggle following, all three of them end up back in Helheim. Kratos gives Atreus some stern words about being a little arsehole, and the two are haunted by Helheim's vision of their past misdeeds. They also discover whilst peeping on Balder that Freya is his mother, and she is the reason for his inability to feel, and he really hates her for it. Using a ship to travel back to Tyr's temple by sheer accident, the two uncover a hidden chamber of Odin's. Inside they discover that Tyr had been travelling to different lands, including Kratos' home turf, and with the help of Mimir's magical sight, they uncover another secret way to reach Jotunheim, one that Tyr crafted for the fleeing giants. After a room-flipping puzzle, the two get their hands on the Unity Stone, which allows them to travel between realms, the stone that allowed Tyr to do so undetected. However, there is one last piece that they need: Mimir's missing eye. This sends them to the belly of Jormungandr, who graciously allows them to search around inside. They find the eye, but are cast out of the beast as the world serpent is knocked out cold. This sets up Atreus and Kratos with their final big battle with Balder. Threatening to kill his mother, the two step in to defend her. Not that she's happy about it. Striking Atreus, Balder accidentally pierces his hand with the tip of a mistletoe arrow, which Atreus kept to bind his bow. This breaks Balder's curse, meaning that he can feel again, but also be killed again. Freya's worst fear was coming to fruition. Balder was in harm's way. A massive and utterly manic boss fight commences, with Freya taking control of the dead giant to break the fight up. Now this does the trick, but sets Balder's sights on his mother, who is willing to be killed by her son if that's what he wishes. Kratos, though, is having none of it, grabbing the now vulnerable god and snapping his neck. Freya swears revenge rather dramatically, and the three part ways. Finally, Kratos and Atreus make their way to Jotunheim. On the final ascension to the peak, they discover that Faye was in fact known as Laufey, and was actually a giant, a secret that not even Kratos knew. Seeing their journey prophesied on a wall, it appears that Laufey knew exactly the kind of journey that the two were intended to go on, whilst also hinting at the weird time stuff between realms. The two finally have a nice moment together as they spread her ashes amidst the peak, laid to rest with her people who too have been discovered to have passed. Once the deed is done, Atreus hits us with the bombshell. Laufey referred to her son as Loki, a name Kratos reveals she wanted for him at birth. Atreus is the god of mischief and an integral player in the upcoming apocalyptic events of Ragnarok. As a little post-game teaser, once you return home, you go for a wee sleep, you wake up a few years later and Thor, god of thunder, is showing up at your door, and I cannot imagine that he's all too happy with you killing his son and brother. But the result of this visit has yet to be seen. And that is the very condensed version of the story of God of War 2018, which will set you up for Ragnarok when it finally arrives on PS4 and 5 on November 9th. Now be sure to check out our other God of War content when you are here as well, such as the extensive breakdown of Norse mythology's telling of Ragnarok. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.